And we are back again. It's your friendly neighborhood film watchers. We are Franklin Football. I'm your humble host, Brandon, and I got my man, Hunted Grand. Set it off, Chris with me. Chris, to describe the what we had to go through with the Cowboys, after beating up on Washington, and then moving forward to play the Broncos. I think you gave me a good analogy for it, right? You said it's like you have a class that you always slack in.
Yeah.
And then you pass one test. You pass that test with flying colors.
Flying colors, bro.
Mm-hmm. And so you think, okay, maybe I got a chance at this.
I got this.
Yeah. You study, you study leading up to that next test.
Right.
Test, and Chris, you flunk it.
Make a 32 on it.
Mm-hmm. Dang. Chris, you get 40 points just for putting your name.
Yeah, 40 points for putting your name on, made a 32.
Yeah.
So let me explain this to you, man. I have friends. Me and you are friends in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have other constituents and counterparts that that I know throughout the world. What's going on, B Bird?
B Bird.
And my guy, man. Thanks, man. Hey, B, we got to get together, man.
Yeah.
We definitely got to get together. And you turn around, and I'm a guy, when I gamble, I don't gamble with money. You know what I'm saying? Because money comes and goes. I get the one thing that's more important than anything. I gamble your pride away. So I had a homeboy of mine, good friend of mine, my man Dan, and I said, listen, whoever wins, if you take this bet, you got to go get the other quarterback's jersey, and on command for a whole week, you got to give, that quarterback's call sign. So, he's always on some, it's bow time. It's bow time. So I was going to have to go buy a Bo Nix jersey.
Yeah.
Wear it on air.
Oh.
And say it's bow time, right?
Ouch.
But I was so confident. I was so assured. I was so I was brewing with confidence that my Cowboys defense would go up and get me 5 to 7 opportunities, punts, without scores. That's what I was thinking I was gonna get.
Yeah. If you must know, Denver ended up only punting twice.
And the first one went until the fourth quarter.
No. The first one was in the first quarter.
Okay, you got one in the first quarter. Okay.
And then the next one was in the fourth quarter.
So going back to what I was saying.
B-Bird, hit my DM, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. But this was a complete and thorough ass whooping.
Yeah.
From beginning to end. I'm talking about, this was taken behind the woodshed, no clothes on, with an extension cord ass whooping that you took. And anybody who kicking it with us, who grew up during that time frame, that's what you end up getting. Yeah. But we usually go, man. We get down with the good, the bad, the ugly. This was gonna be
good. Can you find from this though?
That it ended. That the game was only 60 minutes. Like I said, we were trying to break a 30-some-odd year curse, man. When you're watching the broadcast and the only highlight you get is Robert Newhouse rolling out and throwing a touchdown pass to, I think it was the Golden Richards for a touchdown. Dude, man, that's sad, bro. Yeah. That's over. Hey, bro, that is over 40 years old, man. That's Super Bowl 12, dog.
Goodness.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it was man, it was embarrassing to say the least, man. Absolutely, utterly embarrassing to say the least.
Absolutely, and there were errors on both sides of the ball. I think you would call it was
errors. It was errors in all three phases. Absolutely. But I mean, go ahead, go get it.
You could call this Dak's first bad game, because I think that when you don't really have anything to rely on, your quarterback presses. You know what I'm saying? And that's any team. So when you get like that interception that was intended for CeeDee Lamb, that it seemed like Jahdae Barron had the route on GPS.
Yeah.
You know, that happens late in the game when your quarterback is pressing, you know.
I think
that happens because you got guys like Deron Bland that are getting beat on a double move. Troy Franklin, you know, he had Deron biting on turf. It's probably still teeth marks on the turf.
But I think you were pressing even earlier than that. I think when you ended up getting Patrick Surtain Jr. or the second,
when you get him out in the first quarter, and then you not only have the dude that you were going to try to play find the scrub, you got a guy that's beneath him on the depth chart.
Absolutely. So you turn around and you don't go straight at him with your hottest player. You know, I just think it was to the point of I'm going to prove CeeDee's the number one, and it doesn't matter if he's the number. He knows he's the number one. He's comfortable with his own skin. You score that touchdown there. And then after that, you know, you just have to be to the point of just executing the game plan. But, dude, I mean, we're going to say this was Rain's worst game. He was pressing, but he got zero. I mean, absolutely no help from his defense. And
that's a common theme, though. That's a common theme.
Okay, but I'm thinking is this, though. I understand, but it's supposed to improve. Like, somebody got to get fired, man. Like, people aren't getting off blocks. People aren't filling holes. There's no communication with between the linebackers and the secondary. And people are running wide open, butt naked, wide open, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that doesn't make any kind of sense. I'm just like, you go to work 6 days, and are y'all talking to each other at all? Are we taking any kind of notes whenever we're out in the field running around? Are we not communicating what we're supposed to do so that when we go out on the field on Sunday that we have a semblance of we know what we're doing?
Yeah.
There's none of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's not one guy that can come say this. And we've said this ad nauseum, you know, for the last couple of weeks. You need revamping on that whole side of the ball. But at the end of the day, I think Flukes is getting the opportunity. He's getting this pass like, oh well, you know, he's not gonna get fired. But I'm like, I'm like this, man. I think too many people got their hands in the sauce with this defense about who they're gonna keep, who they're not gonna keep. And I just believe that you're with the overhaul you have to do, you gotta allow your scouts to do what they do. You gotta let your pro personnel get the people you say you need for what you want and go from there, man. Because this is embarrassing.
Yeah, I think embarrassing is a good word. You know how sometimes you can have like highlight reels of a game. Like, I'll give you an example. The third game in the World Series was yesterday, right?
Okay.
I personally don't watch very much baseball, but despite you know my extensive hat collection, but on the MLB's official YouTube page, the highlight video for that game is 30 minutes. 30 minutes of highlights from that game, right? You could probably get a 30-minute low light reel from this. So for example, one guy that Chris, I'm not sure if I ever told you, Chris, but I hold grudges, right?
Right.
Not sure if I've ever divulged that fact about.
Nah, that might be new. Yeah, that might be new.
Cool. Sam Williams. Sam Williams is always supposed to be like the next best thing or the next big thing, especially after we got rid of Micah. But for somebody that played, how many snaps did he play? 42 of the 68 defensive snaps. That's 62%. That's 62% of the snaps. He had 3 tackles, 0 pressures, 0 tackles for losses, 0 QB hits, 0 sacks, and only one of those tackles was solo. Now, there was one play in particular. It was early in the third quarter, and it was pitched to J.K. Dobbins. Williams got chipped by a tight end, and he completely lost contain. Completely. And Dobbins just ripped it for a big 14-yard gain right there. And that's like a cardinal sin for an edge rusher, especially when your defensive coordinator only wants to rush 4. That demands setting the edge, especially against the run. But then later on a 3rd and 4 in the same quarter, I think, he got pushed too far upfield, and it just left a gaping line for the quarterback to then scramble for a 9-yard gain.
I mean, if you go back to that, R.J. Harvey had him run his first touchdown. I think it was like a 45-yard scamper. You know, I like this little, scamper. But the dude went 45 yards untouched.
And he was untouched.
And I mean, there were times, man, where they would just give him whatever they want. There were gaping holes. Yeah. Inside, every run lane you looked at, it was a run lane here, a run lane there. It was just gaping holes, guys being pushed around. And I think the thing that's big for us to look at, and salute to Voch Lombardi and Brian Broaddus. I listened to them earlier this week, and it was a question that me and John Herndon had, and the guys we were talking to on Sunday, man. It's like guys that come here, man, from other places, or last year, they seem to be playing worse now that they're here. And so what is going on that's got guys downgrading from what they were? Like we said before, we believe that Fowler was a 6 to 8 sack guy. I don't even remember Fowler being on the field or doing anything of any value. First off, I don't see anybody doing anything of it. Kenny Clark was supposed to come here and help stop the run. Well, that hasn't happened. Osa signed his big contract. He's getting killed. We're looking at Marshawn Nealon like, I don't even know who Marshawn Nealon is. We were seeing him with so much promise last year, and this year he's kind of vanished. We see some glimpses with Izaraku, but not enough. But it's just to the point, man.
He's a rookie. Chris, I try to be fair. He's a rookie. I know.
But listen, I need to see him do something. Yeah. I need to see him do something, make a play here or there. When nobody else is making any plays, I'm expecting if you're on the field, they think you can make plays. Nobody's making plays. My linebacker room is
horrible.
It's sad, man.
Yeah.
It's sad. Kenny Butler, man, he don't need to, Kenneth Murray. Man, I'd rather have Keith Murray out there. At least I know he's going to give me a hit.
The most beautiful's.
I need the most beautiful's, man. I know he's going to be kicking with R. Kelly. There's going to be something going on because ain't nothing going on with him, man. Yeah. But Kenneth Murray, man, bruh, let it go. Maris, I'm not sure. So to think I'm going to go and bring Overshown back and it's going to be a big difference, man, now, I'm not looking for
I hate that they're setting them up with that high expectation. I hate that for him. But then, like I said, Chris, it's not just on that side of the ball. I think that your offensive line had if I was to grade, I would give your offensive line an F because Brock Hoffman and Terrence Steele both got bullied. You should have what was it? It was a tackle for loss on a third and 2. Nick Bonito hit a mean stunt. You would have thought he was a stunt man. You would have thought his name was Evel Knievel the way that he hit a stunt on Brock Hoffman.
But this is probably the best defense that you're gonna see all year. This is probably this is probably the most complete defense you're gonna see. So for me to have Brock Hoffman at he's now into the zone of where he's out of his, to the point where I feel like he's at his most usefulness. When he's playing at his best. He's too many games from that. And he got whipped all day, man. And it was just doing things to hurt yourself. Early in the first quarter, you turn around, you got it out on the 1, 3rd and goal, you're about to go in. He gets a false start, pushes it back 5 yards and forces something else. So, and this was going to be the most complete defensive line they were going to go against with the outside corners to match. So with Surtain going down and they got Moss over there, and he's decent. There's this spraying of there's a spraying of.
He was supposed to be the scrub that we were supposed to be trying to find.
I mean, you could go find him, but that pass rush enables guys who are average to slightly above average to tick up another step because that pass rush is coming. So I'm not knocking him for, if he only got to cover for 2 to 3 seconds or he can be close, he gonna look better than he really is. But he held his own. He got his fair share of penalties, which he earned. But it didn't make a difference because even if we did get a 5-yard penalty, 15-yard penalty, we were going to be forced to be one-dimensional. And I think we kind of went away from the run a little bit too early, but that's because you feel like you've got to score 7 every time you get on the field.
Absolutely, and that's the downside of having a sponge on defense. Sponge got more holes that you can count on, right?
That wasn't no sponge, man. That was a sieve, man. That thing couldn't hold anything, bro. It was terrible, bro. And so it's to the point now. This is all this is pure tryouts about guys who are showing glimpses of what they can do for next year because
Chris, they had Mozzie out there just chilling. Like you now experimenting with Mozzie because things are just getting so far gone.
I mean, listen, man. You're gonna find out what Mozzie is or what he ain't. But right now, he hasn't given you any signs of feeling like he isn't what you always thought he was.
Sure.
But my thing about it's just to the point of it, and we talked about this before when we coming off the Carolina loss. You don't have your tone setters throughout your secondary. Like going into this game without Diggs was not an addition by subtraction. This was a subtraction. This was a subtraction by subtraction. He's probably one of your better corners. So let's get that out the way.
But at the same time, though, Chris, like I said, Troy Franklin made DaRon Bland bite so hard on that double move, it's still teeth marks on the field.
But was that outside or was that in the slot?
That was that inside one.
Okay. I mean, hey, listen, you trying to go make a play. Troy Franklin is he's a
good receiver, but he's
like
I wouldn't put him as a household name or anything yet.
No, but listen, it'll make a difference, man. Running routes is running routes, man. You playing backwards, and if a guy get a chance, he gets you to bite, he can make you pay. So I'm not knocking him for that, but at the end of the day, man, Bridges got hit. Bridges got out there, got sauteed. If Bland got hurt, got beat on one, Bridges got beat on another. The guy went, I think he went 27. What was he? 27 for
talking about Bo Nix?
Yeah, was it 27 for 44 with 4 touchdowns, 247 yards, 274 yards? It was some crazy number, bro.
I know he had 3 or 4 touchdowns.
No, he had 4 touchdowns, but I think it was like 247. I think he was 22.
247, 4 tuds, 1 INT.
No, but what was the number? 22 passes, 22 completions.
He was 19 of 29.
Come on, dog. Come on, man. Come on. Ideal numbers that you want for your quarterback. Under 30.
Yep.
Absolutely efficient.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he had a perfect QBR rating. It was man, you made this dude look like he was, the second coming of John Elway, man. and it's just disheartening. But you kind of you saw it and you knew it. You just didn't want to believe it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all it was. You saw it, you knew it, you just didn't want to believe it, and that's what ended up happening. So I think. Go ahead.
I wanted to try to save this until we got to the end of our recap, right? Because at the end of this, man, this is one of those games that you kind of, at least for the defense, watch it once, burn it. Watch it once, and I think that the coaches would have to be brutally honest about certain players, like for example, Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray, I don't know if Kenneth Murray knows how to play football at a certain point. You know what I'm saying?
We are sitting up here burning all this tape. You remember? We looked at it and burned it for Carolina, burned it and throw it away. We looked at it and burned up the tape for the Giants game. This is the reason they keep making mistakes, because they burning all the tape because they're not looking at the mistakes.
Sure. Hey, look, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
They are who they are, bro. They are a undisciplined, non-communicating, non-pass rushing,
poorly staffed, poorly coached.
Poorly constructed defense, and it falls on the hands of the DC, but the DC can only work with what the GM gets him.
Mhm.
And so that way, I'm just to the point, man. If we're gonna jump down, we're gonna keep saying they're this great drafting team. They're not.
Yeah,
They're
no,
just
they
adequate.
are holding a few L's this year.
No,
Excuse me, over the last years, 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years, you holding some L's because your depth is shoddy, and your depth, Go ahead.
He said that this is the bad news Cowboys defense.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
all they get is bad news.
all they get is bad news, bro, and it is what it is, man. So
this is the question that I kind of wanted to say, because B Bird brought a good point up here. He said, if you were any other NFL team, what defensive player, and I'll expand it beyond just the 5th round, what defensive player would you even trade for from this Cowboys roster? I would only name 2.
Okay, you go with your 2.
2 in a possible. If we
so if we playing spades, you got 2 in a possible.
I got 2 in the shot.
On the defensive side.
Yeah. What, and not talking offense at all. What defensive players would you trade for if you were another? If your name was Lurie and you was out there in Philly?
I mean, how are we making the move? So you talking about how we had to do it?
If your name was Shanahan and you was out there in the Bay Area,
and I had to go get somebody,
like I said, just use that as insert team here. I could only name 2 in a possible.
I got Bland, I got Izaraku.
Nope.
Yeah, I'll get Izaraku because of his upside. Because if I trade him, I'll keep him for a year, 2 years. Yeah, I ain't got a third one.
Bland, Clark, maybe Diggs.
I mean, you talking about played Sunday. I'm not. You talking about on the whole team now? Then I got no.
Bland, Clark, maybe.
No,
Diggs.
I got about 4 or 5 that I would keep. If I'm gonna blow this thing up, I'm gonna keep certain guys.
Who you would keep is different from who you think another team would be interested.
Oh no, another team would get Osa and play him different. Another team would get Kenny Clark and play him different. Osa didn't just turn into a terrible player. I believe it's scheme above anything else. Osa is a really good player.
But I also think this. I think Osa's probably a bit disappointed in how his play has been this year. I think that he's underperforming. But that
goes under scheme. That goes under the scheme. So I mean, I'm not saying we're loaded with terrible players. I just don't think you take away. The thing about it is that for a while I was saying, well, Eberflus should get a pass because he was expecting to have Parsons inside his defense and be able to use him. Parsons was never there.
Parsons wouldn't save this defense.
But he never practiced. He never practiced. He only showed up for mandatory OTAs. He ain't do anything to the point where he was on the field that Eberflus could say, this is what this guy is. You know what I'm saying? He continuously had back problems until he got paid. Okay, so
Chris, you know a 9-figure, 10-figure check that'll solve a back pain.
I mean, it'll lighten up some things, but so that the thing about Eberflus saying, I was expecting to have him. No, because you never saw him practice. So if you understood that, you knew the personnel you got, and all the promise that we had of Izaraku, what he was doing, you haven't been able to see that. You expected Osa to play better. You expected, even with getting Clark there with something to prove, that he would play better, and he does it in flashes. But you're not getting anything from Fowler. You're not getting anything from Murray.
Nope.
Your secondary was depleted on Sunday anyway.
Sure.
You didn't have Wanye. As bad as Donovan is, he wasn't there, but it wasn't like Donovan can help you. But it's like we've said this, Brandon. You don't have an explosive at each level. You don't have it, and so this is what happens, man. This is what happens.
And it kind of sucks because they already haven't been a team that historically looked at safety hard. So yeah, to go out there and lose everyone like they've gone 5 safeties is a lot. You know what I'm saying? 5 safeties is a lot. So for them to either currently have or have gone through 5 safeties so far this year, man, it's
that goes on
the middling level of talent that we had at that position is going even lower. So it's below the basement at this point.
You turned around, you had Malik, you expected Wanye to play. This is supposed to be Wanye's opportunity time to shine and show who he was. Bell was out there, he was doing what he could. Donovan was there, but I'm just saying there were certain times where, hey, come in, fill the hole and make a play. You had, it was one run play. He was supposed to fill the gap, hit him with an Olay, man. It was just terrible, man. Nobody,
Absolutely.
you only had like one hard hit from the defense all game. But outside of that, man, it was a shellacking, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Don't want to burn the tape, but you want to find out who was doing what. So as you get ready to start into this draft season, which we're about to start here, right now.
Yeah, Chris, I'm watching draft film this week. I got like the season I think is burnt at this point. Because even if you were to go out there and get one player, which I think they will, I think they're gonna do it just to try to, kind of like how they did with the Mingo trade. Well, we had to do something. Remember, because
hey, listen, you don't need to do nothing. You need to reserve to figure out.
I know what they need to do, but I know what they historically have done too.
What you expect?
Yeah, I expect Jerry Jones to try to go out there and spend for a guy before the trade deadline just to say, I'm still trying, but we already know what the end result is. So yeah, I'm diving into draft film, and I would hate even more for them to go out there and spend draft assets for a guy who's just like a 1-year rental. I want, if I could kind of find a silver lining, I would prefer it be a guy that you have next year and hopefully the year after that, as far as contractual control. That lines up right along with Dak and CD's windows.
Listen, only thing that there's only one person that needs to be signed, and we need to get that over with. We already know who that is.
Yep.
Get him squared away and go forward. And then after that, man,
figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that any players, especially defensive players, because they have to be the ones who are getting like the biggest earfuls from offensive guys? I mean, at the end of the day, these people, Chris, these adults, if your defense is letting you down behind closed doors, Dak is kind of company man, so I don't think it's him. But your CD, your George Pickens, some of your offensive linemen,
I don't think
probably getting an earful from them.
No, I don't think they're getting that from them. Mm-hmm. I think what they're getting that from the fact of the matter, they're like, yo, man, what's going on that you guys aren't understanding or picking it up? Because at the end of the day, they're all professionals, right? They're all professionals. It's not like you're sitting there saying on the offense, like, it's like this. It's like there's no part of the defense that's playing well. It ain't like we can say, hey, we're getting pass rush, but the corners are getting beat. Hey, we're stopping the run, you know what I'm saying? But we're having the whole defense is bad. And so I think they're pulling the finger at what's the DC doing? What's wrong with that guy?
I'm glad that you said that, because I was leading into a question. Do you think that the coaching staff or some of these players are kind of getting disinterested, or the coaching staff is losing some of these players, especially on the defensive side of the ball?
Oh, I think they lost. They're losing guys, but here's the problem. Yeah. You still got to put tape out because some of these guys aren't guaranteed to be here next year.
Nope.
Elam isn't guaranteed to be here next year.
Nope.
Deron Bland, he's trying to fight back to say, oh, is he a legitimate, top corner? Nickel guy. So guys are out here trying to put stuff on tape, So I think they're trying to do what the DC is telling them to do, but I don't think his scheme fits the guys that he has, and I just don't think he's getting enough pass rush to run what he's doing. And that's leaving the secondary out there exposed. Dude, this 5 seconds is a long time.
Yeah.
Well, 5 seconds is a long time to chase somebody around.
Yeah. Man, it's tough. It's a very tough situation because I mean we already know that. Said Sam. So we got Sports Guru in the chat. He said Sam and Mozzie's key cards need to be deactivated immediately. That's one of those ones where I would highly expect that in the offseason because
highly expected what? That he's gone.
Yeah, they're gonna be relieved of their services.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be a lot of trash bags in the locker room. But I just need to get through these next couple of games. This game was supposed to be kind of like my benchmark of hey, where we're at, and they showed me where we're at. I think we play don't we play the Chargers this week on Monday night?
No, Arizona Cardinals.
Okay, all right. So this is supposed to be it was supposed to be playing Denver, playing Arizona, and then I think we play the Raiders the week after, right?
Yeah, Cardinals, Raiders by week.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Dude, if we win, we win. Right now, I'm to the point I don't want to win. You know, I want to get as high as I can where I can either turn around and get Caleb Downs, I can get Reuben Baines, or I can get the linebacker out of Ohio State. I got to get his name down, and we'll be highlighting him. But dude,
I haven't watched enough.
I have
to know a lot.
Yeah, I've watched, but I just can't get his name down. But I'm to the point now. Because I know I need at least I need to get one guy offensively signed, and I need to make this whole draft about my defense. My entire draft has got to be my free agency and draft have to be about my defense.
It would suck because you know the Cowboys love to spend that first round pick on like an old lineman. So
I mean, no,
I hope that's not the route that they go again.
They only go get that guy unless they they only go get that guy unless you absolutely need it, and you don't really need that right now. Honestly, your offensive line guys are good. You got enough depth, you can go from there. I don't need to do anything to my offense. I really don't. You know, if I can go around maybe later rounds, maybe the 4th, 5th round, maybe go find a running back, but the majority of my top four picks. My top 4 or 5 picks, or anything I can do to get more, to trade back and get more, need to be solely on this defense, including free agency.
Yeah, I wouldn't be, upset at that. Wouldn't be.
I mean, it ain't about being upset. It's about what needs to be done.
Yeah, I agree.
It needs to be done.
I agree. So Chris, you look. Check with me again. So we play on Monday. So that probably wouldn't be any draft content. Check
yes,
with
sir.
Me on Tuesday.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have at least 5 guys down.
Well, I mean, we ain't gotta have. We don't have to have that many. That we can just start putting them in the vault, sticking them away, and we can start, kind of slowly, drizzling them out.
I don't have step, Chris.
Huh?
I don't have step.
It ain't about half step, but I mean, we still got to talk about the rest of the season, no matter what, because we're still going to see. Hey, we want to see, can the MVP come from a losing football team? Because I still want to see. I would love to see that happen.
As much as I would love it, his team may be preventing that from happening.
His numbers are going to be epic, though.
Oh yeah,
right now,
it's going to be like Joe Burrow. It's going to be like Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I want to see does the league show him as much love and adoration and consideration like they do Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow threw for 5,000 yards.
Yeah, he threw for 5,000 yards, but did make the playoffs and things like that.
Well, guess what, buddy? It's right on. We're right on tab for that.
That's tracking to be the case.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
But. So,
go ahead.
What is the best way to ask this? In Dallas, Jerry Jones wants all of the credit for things, so he can say like he's in charge and all of that, right? But I also think that they have an issue where he kind of gets opinions from way too many people, like people that are unnecessary. Like for example, one year in the past, they got an opinion from the GM of the Yankees.
From the who?
From the New York Yankees.
Oh.
These guys. And it's like, okay, why does that matter? Why are you qualified to speak on football players? And I think that a lot of times, because Jerry is 83 years old, I think that the opinion that he puts the most stock in is the person who gets to him last, right? And in a lot of cases, that can lead to a screwed up draft philosophy, because in pick 1, you may have, the defensive coordinator's ideas. In pick 2, you may have the head coach's ideas. In pick 3, you might have somebody from marketing. And that also goes along with any potential, few though they may be, free agency acquisitions.
I think there's too many hands and there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Yes. Mm-hmm. But I believe it should always be the people who you've gone out and scouted these people, scouted these kids, who've watched these kids for 4 or 5 years. Yeah. You tell me what you want. Mm-hmm. I'll go get the groceries, right? You cook it up. I know Absolutely. Bill Parcells was famous for, well, if you want me to cook the meal, I should be able to shop for the groceries. Sometimes I don't need you to shop for anything. Let the guys who've gone out.
Tell me what you like.
Tell me what you like. Tell me what you like to eat, and I will prepare it for you and give you all the pieces so you can coach them and do that. Because you're not going to go ask a scout to come in and talk about coaching the guy. You just want to get your height, weight, things of your nature, and these are the guys we're looking at, and put them on the board, and that's what we look at. And that's what you go for.
I agree with that philosophy, because then we would have someone that we can put accountability on. In our case, it would probably be Will McClay.
Right, but as long as Jerry sits in that position, you will never be able to fully blame Will, nor will you be able to give Will all the credit. Will is just going to bring you who you want, and now he's got to do the dance between the scouts, the coaches, and the owner to pick the guy that we need.
And that's one of the issues. I think that at a certain point, the coaches have to stop screwing with the scouts. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, get the scouts, get the coaches out of the ear of in the draft room. This is the guy we want. Oh, I like this guy, but you don't know what I know about this kid. Don't matter. I need the scouts to do their job. That's what they paid for. That's what they stay away from their families for. That's why they have the kind of diets they have. That's why they got high blood pressure. They got cholesterol, all that other stuff, to the point that I need to be able to make the decision on that.
Absolutely.
French, what you say, baby?
He said he thinks our scouting department has seriously failed at evaluating talent for defensive players for years, and I'm inclined to agree.
I don't believe that. I believe that they turned around. Okay, we can give a perfect example. You had a coach who went out to dinner with a kid and spent 2-3 days with him, and turned around and picked him in the second round, right? Went to pick him in the second round, or he turned around, a scout went out and they told you that a guy couldn't play, and the DC said, I don't know if he's fast twitch or this, that, and the other. One turned out to be out of the league in 4 years. The other was going to end up in Canton. I don't want to hear nothing no coach got to say, because his job is to coach it. You know what I'm saying? Get me the players. That's how you get Taco Charlton instead of getting TJ Watt. Listening to a coach.
So that was apparently a Will McClay pick, though.
No,
that was apparently that was highly touted by Will.
No, that was highly frowned upon by Marinelli. Marinelli didn't like TJ. I don't know if he can put his hand in the dirt. Well, shit, go find out. If the scout said he can put his hand in the dirt, I don't know if he can. Nobody cares, but just coach it. Just coach it. You can look on tape and say that dude's different. Yeah. He's a tad bit different than this other dude. You see the limitations with that guy. There's nothing you're going to be able to coach up if you see he's having limitations there. So, listen, between Marinelli doing Taco and then turn around the next year getting the other kid from UCF that was a bust, Dude, I don't want no coaches making no decisions about a single solitary player.
Now,
let them coach.
Another thing that would bring is it would kind of bring a bit of continuity to the team, because the Cowboys are soon going to be on their fourth defensive coordinator in as many years.
And their lives may be the problem.
Let me land.
Okay.
So you got 4 different defensive coordinators with 4 different ideas of what they want in a team. So you're gonna have a unit that has no cohesiveness. A coach may like a particular player, but he might be less talented than other guys on the board at that point in time. So, hopefully, Eberflus is relieved of his duties, on Black Monday, and his key card doesn't work. But you know how the Joneses they don't like to pay people for sitting on the couch. So that's one of those dark thoughts that are just sitting in the back of my head that. But I digress. You got a lot of different players over the last 4 years that were drafted with different ideas in mind for them. So I think that you have to have somebody who, meaning the scouts, meaning Will McClay, his team, that just does that work. Okay, this guy is good. This guy is not good, etc. And of course that's a very black and white way of saying it. There's a lot of different qualities and metrics that go into that. But you can't have the coaches taint the draft process with their philosophy.
Honestly, I'm hearing you, and I understand what you're saying. Hey, you're going to fire DC because you're out here hunting for the perfect DC. Yeah. I think you've got to get to the point of letting whatever that DC is, what he wants. And then what the scouts bring him, that's what you put on the board and go with.
Yeah.
It's far too many times everybody's getting a chance to pick this guy. You know what I'm saying? Dan Quinn got to pick a guy. Zimmer got to pick a guy. Eberflus gets to pick a guy. That's all I'm saying.
So how do you fix it?
As much as me personally, how I fix it, and this is highly unpopular, I'm gonna keep Eberflus. I'm gonna figure. Now, listen. I said it's unpopular. I didn't say you were gonna like it. Yeah. I'm gonna keep Eberflus. I'm going to get explosives at every level, because if you go back and look at the Chicago defenses, those defenses were good. They had guys who could play. Jalen Jones could play. He had guys who could play. I think you got to get him better interior guys and go draft you a monster on the outside. I think if you have a better outside guy, or at least a threat on the outside, you can change some different things you can do.
All right, so let me tell you this.
Okay.
Because I'm a huge fan of Chicago's GM, Ryan Poles. They do things the way that we're explaining. They don't let the coaches taint their draft process. He's heavily involved in draft scouting. I'm a huge fan of him. He looked like us. You know what I'm saying? They do things the way that I would prefer. So if you're talking about how well Marinelli did with their drafted talent, guess what? He hadn't. My bad. I said Marinelli. I meant Eberflus.
Right.
If you talked about Eberflus' success in Chicago, he didn't have much say in it. Ryan Poles did.
I don't want him to have any say. I'll keep him, but he tells me the guys he wants, and I go get them. I just believe he doesn't have the interior guys he wants. He definitely doesn't have a bona fide pass rusher guy he wants.
For sure.
Right? And then the linebackers they got are porous. As much as we're jumping up and down.
Linebackers, they got a horrible Chris.
But the best guy they got is a guy that we don't like, and he's injured. You see what I'm saying? Sanborn's the best guy you got, and he's injured. Ain't that crazy? So it's we on here for 45 minutes going around and around, but at the end of the day, you got to have better players. They got to be coached. They got to be coached better, and communication got to be had across the board. I'm just sitting here saying, me personally, these are some of these guys ended up playing better last year. They played a lot better when they had a dominant guy one dominant guy there helping get everything going a certain kind of way. You don't have that guy. You don't have a guy like that. Not just that guy. You don't have a guy like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that starts first. And the only way that starts is that you got to go work in all three phases. All 4 phases of free agency.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning of free agency, dealing in the draft, dealing with the second tier of free agency, where you got your UFL guys, you're gonna find a guy there, and dadgummit, you find out when you're after your June cuts, go find another guy to bring him into camp. You got to use all 4 to start bringing in guys that you're gonna go ahead and try to revamp this thing.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That's the only way it's gonna work.
So, Chris, I was thinking about this today. I was sitting there, deep in thought,
contemplating life.
Yeah, many of things. Jerry Jones has been less involved in the team, right? As far as the day-to-day. Jerry Jones don't watch film and stuff like that.
Never has.
A lot of his previous responsibilities have been passed along to Steven, delegated to Steven. When Steven has full control of this team, right? Do you think that there's like a change in urgency as far as the need for success?
Absolutely. Why? I think because one, it's going to be to the point where they're going to have to get over this thing they have never won. Because it'll be, first off, how can I say this? There's an urgency for it, but because they're relevant, the owner wants to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Winning has not been the main thing. And winning only becomes the main thing if you're willing to change philosophies in certain areas. So if Steven just wants to be the president of football operations, but he wants to make Will the GM so he can fire him, then so be it. But Jerry always said, I built an occupation. I made an occupation for us. My occupation was owning the Dallas Cowboys, owning the football team. So I can run everything that goes along with it.
Yeah.
And that's his stilo, man.
So I think that there's younger Jerry Jones in his 40s and 30s and things like that did have some urgency, but he had success that eventually came from that, right? And a gold jacket that came with it, right? At the end of the day, I think we've talked about this before. Jerry Jones can hang that on his wall. Hey, I'm a Hall of Famer. I've done it, right? I think that with Steven, when it is his turn, co-owner, co-GM, stuff like that, he is.
I don't want him to be. I don't want him to be GM. I don't want him to be
until proven otherwise. Until proven otherwise, right? I think that it's gonna be a little different with him because Stephen Jones doesn't have any skins on the wall. Stephen Jones doesn't have any there, right? So I think there's going to be a different sense of urgency for Steven because let's say they continue to go down the trail of performing well, but not getting it done, not making it to a conference championship game, things of that nature. The murmurs are going to be a bit louder to Steven because it's like, man, you just got this off of nepotism. You're a nepo baby. You're not doing good at this.
That don't bother him, and because and I'm gonna be honest with you, we've already had this. My man Big Game James said this a long time ago. They believe they football guys. They've been in football for 20 some odd years. They feel like they don't feel like they nepotism guys. They feel like they football people. So they don't feel that. They don't feel that, this nepotism thing. Hey, this is what we do. We're the Dallas Cowboys. This is what we've done over the we've had this football team longer than probably anybody else who's ever owned this thing. What the team's what 60 teams what I think it's 1960 1960. Okay, yeah. Listen, we didn't have this football team as long as anybody else. Listen, we've had it longer than the one coach that everybody loves. Nah, they don't think that way. But the point of wanting to win has got to be to the point that this generation understands that they were winners. Yeah. My children have never seen them be winners. They're going on 30 years without being a winner. So they're 3 decades into this, and I don't know when Jerry's leaving. Only the Lord knows. But in the meantime, they've got to change what they need to do. Right. Listen, I want to see them win again. So to change that, you have got to get the coaches out of the process of the players. You have to move in all 4 phases of free agency, okay, and drafting, and that's the only way you're gonna get this thing back. You're gonna waste a great year, but everything's in front of you what you need to be able to do. Everything's in front of you what you need to be able to do.
And it sucks. Wasting a good year sucks because you don't know if this offense is gonna be this prolific next year.
Oh, you don't. Yeah. You don't. But you also know this. Those 2 draft picks you got aren't going to bring you enough defensive players to make this thing go over the top.
Nope. I think that, and it's funny, right? Jerry Jones said, "Oh, we got those 2 picks. That's going to get us 4 players." You kind of showing your hand saying that you may be interested in moving back already. Cool. But B, how many of those players that could be even a portion of what Micah Parsons is, right?
I'm not worried about that because at the end of the day, I only found out how good he was and what he did by accident. That's what happened. Found that out by accident. In the meantime, I know I need an explosive at all 3 levels. I have serviceable guys and a couple of them pieces that have upside, but I've got to get explosive players on all 3 levels, and I have to go get them through free agency and the draft. I need to bring about 6, 7, 8 guys on defense just to make this thing cook.
I agree. Your defense needs a full revamp. So it still remains how that's going to get figured out. You know what I'm saying? Still remains. We still got what, 8 games left in this season, 9 games left in this season. So while Chris there you go. He back. Chris, yo. No, I can't hear you. Yeah, work that out. So anyway, we still got like half of the season left, which is tough. And it's a lot more fun to cover your team when your team is good, right? But it's a lot tougher, and it really shows how good you are as a content creator when you can do it while your team is bad, especially in certain areas. If you come down to like losing against the Cardinals or the Raiders, who aren't good teams right now, I could see a lot of the general fan base losing heavy interest in this team, losing heavy interest in the Cowboys, because at that point you losing to the bad teams too. And thankfully after that Raiders game, you got your bye week. I'm gonna be back from vacation by then, and that's probably where you get to kind of assess your mid-season evaluation. You get to take a mid-season evaluation that all of your coaching. That's something that I'm really looking forward to because I got a whole lot of bad to talk about, but some good at the same time. And to kind of dip into that a little bit. Like we talked about Eberflus a lot. I think that, and I've said this multiple times, I think that a good way to gauge how strong of an impact your coach has is you see steady improvement on the side of the ball that they command. So I'll use Brian Schottenheimer for example. We've seen steady improvement from even going from week 1 to 2 on this offense. And progressively more from there. Like losing CD Lamb, we got to see how much he can adjust. He can get into his coaching bag by elevating George Pickens. But you haven't seen that on the defense. You haven't seen that on the defense at all. In a lot of ways, I can say this defense has gotten worse as the season has gone on. Yes, there have been some injuries, but the constants have been horrible. Your Sam Williams, your Kenneth Murray, all of those guys. Insert cornerback here. On every level, your constants have been bad. So just using that thought process that I talked about before, can you really say that Eberflus is even coaching well? Because he generally has been unwilling to adjust. And that, being able to adjust not only to your opponent, but the strength of your personnel, that's a sign of a great coach. Eberflus hasn't really done that. They went one game where they played primarily man against the Commanders a weakened Commanders at that. And then he immediately went right back to what he has been. And we have seen more regression. I hate talking down on guys, you know what I'm saying? But it's like the stats don't lie, man. This has been a defensive disaster. I think, through 8 weeks, it's the Cowboys defense has become a meme, when you have guys who may be struggling, opposing quarterbacks, when you have opposing quarterbacks who are struggling, they turn into the greatest form of themselves against the Cowboys. Because they're giving up so many pass touchdowns. I think they lead the league in that. And we only have 11 sacks as a team. 5 of those were against the Jets. Besides that game, we're not even averaging a sack per game. in the run game, we giving up 150 plus rushing yards a game. Like, we just gave up almost 180 to Denver. So think about that when it comes to your coach. How is your coach adjusting to his failure or success? And in a lot of ways, you could say that Eberflus is caved under it. It's been ugly to see, man. It's been ugly to see. So I think as you move on, you're gonna have a lot more primetime games, which sucks. I think you only got 2 primetime slotted games for the season. Let me confirm that. Cardinals is primetime. The Raiders is primetime. Let's see. The Chiefs are a holiday game. The Lions are primetime. Vikings are primetime. The Commanders are primetime on a holiday, and it'll be determined against the Giants. Sports Guru, you said you can't adjust when your players aren't smart defenders. What adjustments can you make? I assume there was a can in there. When players are not doing the simple things, you can bench those players. That's what you can do. We've known for weeks that Kenneth Murray, it has not been the smartest player. Like I said earlier in this stream, I don't think that Kenneth Murray really knows how to play football. Mentally, he's either checked out or taking one too many hits. And man, that sucks. I shouldn't say that. That sounds bad, right? But they're just starting to reduce his snaps. And even when they rotate your linebackers, it's never like Shamar James and Maris Leofau. It's Kenneth Murray and Shamar James, or Kenneth Murray and Maris Leofau. Damone Clark might be in there somewhere. I don't even know what his situation is off of the top of my head. But they've been keeping him on the field. He's been a constant. I would be inclined to agree with you, like on the front. They have used a bevy of rotations or combinations on that defensive front. That's the TI word for the day, bevy. But they haven't had any success there, right? In the defensive backs, we've known for a while that Dono and Hooker haven't been the guys, but they've just been there. They haven't really taken a chance on some of the other guys. So yes, your personnel might be lacking, but what you do is you rotate out the worst offenders. So I'm not removing any blame from him because of the team, the personnel being bad. Try something different. That's what you're paid quite well for. So yeah, it's swim or drown. Those are the only 2 options for him. And it sucks because, like Chris said, like I said, the Cowboys don't like to pay people to sit on the couch, regardless of if it's players or coaches. So I have a creeping fear that he might still be here after this year, which would suck. It would suck a lot. But yeah, man. I've been on here for going on 60 minutes. If you're still here, if you watched this show for the whole time, I need you to do 4 things for me. I need you to like this video. And if you've watched any others, go ahead and like those as well. Need you to leave some comments, in the post show chat box. I need you to share the video, share with your friends, share with your mom and them. Hope they doing good. And if you're not already, I need you to subscribe so you can see more dope content like this. Chris has some technical difficulties. I promise one of these days I'm gonna go to his crib and once he gets a new computer and we gonna set that up. But yeah, Chris always says that he's like sidekick. That's not true. We both the main man in this. And yeah, we come together and we make Franklin football. So till next time, peace.